Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the OSU World Cup 2025 quarterfinals stage. Here we are on the second channel with what should be a curious matchup, Norway versus Turkey here in our losers bracket stage. Norway having a really rough go of it last week against Canada, the number 4 seed. The powerhouses kind of overlapping skill sets there wound up turning no good for Norway. But Turkey should be a very different story with regards to skill sets on these teams being pretty compare contrast opposite. Turkey very good at the flow and very good at the nomad and hard rock gameplay in comparison to Norway, who's more aligned with double time and hidden. So should be a curious case there. My name is Hubba, currently on the solo cast, but gonna make it through regardless as we have a look and see what these roles are gonna look like for these teams. I would imagine Norway gonna be liking the reading in this pool. If Turkey doesn't ban that Nomad 5, should be a very early pick for them with those specialists. As well as Turkey, this Hard Rock pool looking pretty solid for them. This Hard Rock one in particular with the flow mechanics. Gonna really let a player like Raikoho shine, wherein after group stages, still a number 10 performer for the overall statistics. Especially because of those flowier picks. You're looking at maps like the Nomad 4 last week, where they got the FC. And here we are, joining me on the co-cast now is going to be Bubble Man. How's it going? How you
can't
feeling?
believe my luck. I have been so busy all week. I didn't fill out my caster schedule, rota, anything, and I get the Norway game. I imagine my face.
Imagine. But how are you feeling about this matchup, Norway versus Turkey? I think the skill set differences between these teams is going to make this a pretty interesting one.
You say the skill set differences, but I don't see that, honestly. No, the Norwegians are like very speed, nomad heavy. But I think the same can be said for Turkey. They're very nomad-centric, especially with Raikoho being the carry. Like, they like the mechanics, they like the generic stuff. Norway also feel the same way, I think. They like the generic stuff, they like the mechanics. Anything that could find small mistakes here and there, anything with room for error, they kind of want to steer away from that. So it's going to be a bit of a shootout on this, a very flow aim heavy pool, which again suits both teams. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, already seeing those standard mechanics maps being struck out by Norway, getting rid of that Nomad 1, Free Mod 1, both Piroshki, aim, and stream farm in its own right. Actually going to be the double hidden ban for Turkey, which is a bit surprising. I see the vision, but also leaving Nomad 5 open is always a little bit scary.
I mean, yeah, against Yolkspie, it just depends on how well you've learned it, right? If you're Turkey. I mean, you'll have more of the stats than I will. I jumped in very last minute, covering a spot. What's the tail of the tape on this one?
Tail of the tape, Norway just had a real bad time last week. Lower average score than Turkey last week, 25 versus 23.
Apparently, Paper Candle had food poisoning.
Okay, that would make sense.
An effect.
Yeah, for sure. Paper Candle, one of those stronger players on the Norwegian side. Their best map was the Hidden 2 last week. Clocking in number 9 there. Unfortunately, going against Canada, wherein they are also a very strong reading team. But looking for those speed mechanics to do a bit better for Norway this time around. I would imagine DT3 going to be one of their strongest picks going into this one.
Crossing my fingers here, hoping Paper Candle's recovered from the ailment that he had. I'm looking at DT2 to be a good pick for Norway, being the finger control, high skill cap. I'm not going to say stamina pick. It's not really stamina intensive, but you do need a prerequisite amount of stamina to have the finger control to begin with, right? So, looking towards that. Other than that, Yeah, Norway banning into Raikoho, Turkey banning Hiddens, so banning from Raikoho, I guess.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Visible team preferences here.
I like that the Nomad 2 DT2 are still going to be available and actually going to be a free mod 2 first pick for Turkey, going straight into the anti-mod after double banning the Hidden. Gonna let the Hard Rocks shine, I would imagine, with some Sumi Nagashi. This is gonna be the Flow anti-mod map. Precision, very... we've been seeing a lot of Hard Rock overmods on this map, actually, throughout the weekend. A couple of 2 double Hard Rock players, 1 Nomad, 1 Hidden, is the usual go-to for teams picking into this one. We'll have to see if Turkey opts for the same fate.
You do need the Hidden on either side, though. And of course, with a Hard Rock on something like this, you're much more comfortable if you can play it no mod. The circles get a lot smaller. We will see. There's definitely one of those picks that you drop every player from the lobby and make sure that they're comfortable and ready. Interesting, like, first gambit, I guess, from Turkey going into the low approach rate reading map in 3 mod.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Last week, they were the ones to pick this map. Raikoho clocked in the Hard Rock FC, as well as 2 Nomad S ranks, one of them being an FC from Shinkiro, the other being a S rank from Orke. So, Spray likely to take
the 3 mod 2, right?
From last week, yeah, the other anti-mod map, but this one going to be a lot different.
Yeah, I don't know if those are comparable. They're only comparable in the fact that they're both low approach rate, small circle size, right? That last one, a lot more about snap aim, like the back and forths, the 128 BPM, I suppose, pace of the map, lending itself to the alt technicians. But this, much more generic. Much, as you said, it's flow aim. It's very cursor control heavy, but not in the sense of snap back and forths. You have to control it over a flowing jump pattern a lot of the time. You also got the rhythms to contend with in this. So it's 50-50 whether you can compare those two. We'll see what they do on this. But what do you reckon, though? I mean, fair gambit?
I'm honestly deeply unsure about this one, especially after the double Hidden ban. You're looking for the comfort from Spray to come through, but you look on the other side and you have Melver and Nineric on the Nomad, Paper Candle on the Hard Rock. On a map like this, it should be pretty comfortable, especially as this is a hard one to get into. You see a lot of breaks very early on this map, and you are just not going to see that on the Norwegian side. 3SS is still already held through this early section. Going to be a solid start from them on one of the shorter maps in this pool.
And you can see exactly what I mean by the flow aim, the cursor control on those pentagonal patterns. As we get into some rhythm control, more flow aim. It's all about the streams, and Yokespie dropping on the streams. The Hidden is down for both sides. It's all on the players who can see the circles. C-circle? Yeah, you better be on a C-circle diet. Better click the circles. Orke, though, drops the slow section, claims 1. Turkey, their first pick, the first map of the match. It's not looking to be going their way right now. But we're only halfway through, Hubba.
Yeah, that swing section, so dicey. Paper Candle missing on the tail end of it. Still only an 80k difference, but Spray having a hard time on that Hidden. It's going to be bottom row versus top row. Shinkiro, Raikoho, Nineric, Melver. That recovery combo from Yokespie is putting in the work for the bulk of the score difference in so far.
And the scary part is one of them is Hard Rock. That is a higher level of difficulty that Raikoho has to contend with, and the 2 Nomads going strong on Team Norway. Orke dropping, finding trouble. Reliant now on his team to carry him through this, and it's the Pentagons again that claim his combo. But it's Eric that drops, mirrored by Spray, but that's an FC for an FC and a big supporting combo as well. And Yokespie, the Hidden is down yet again, and it is top row versus bottom left corner. Melver doing all he can to fend off those 2 FCs. The one Hard Rock, the one No-Mod, Shinkaro. It's closing, but it's not very fast. There is not a lot of map left to go. There are so few circles left to click. And it's not quite going to be enough. Turkey, a late surge. Couple of late mistakes by Norway, but they don't let up. And it's the point getting broken. Norway taking it.
Yeah, that
Well
double
played
FC.
by Melva.
Double FC not going to be enough for Turkey there. Shinkiro, Raikoho making it over that 950k mark, but Melver had the backup off of that recovery combo from Paper Candle. Yolks Pie getting 200k up against the hidden player on the other side, and that'll be enough to get that initial breakpoint for Norway.
And that's what we were worried about. It was the question that we asked, that these two maps, the one from group stage, round of 16, and this quarterfinals map, they're only comparable in the fact that they are the anti-mod map of the pool. It's the difference in skill set that Norway pick up on. Turkey, they did okay to get a double FC on it, but supports just weren't there. And what's next, Hubba? Where do Norway now go with this advantage that they have been gifted?
I would prefer that they pick a DT3, I think. I think a DT3 is a solid way to go. And there it is. You're always looking at a Norway, and specifically Nineric, with the higher BPM maps in this pools. DT2, No-Mod 2, a little bit more entry level for some of the stamina players on the Turkish side, wherein you go to a Dematory Jonathan LFJ double time map and you have to deal with 285 BPM bursts. A lot less accessible, a lot harder to get into at the skill cap, and always going to be a solid pick for the higher seeded team, especially when you have that kind of specialist in Nineric.
Yeah, but Turkey no slouches on this either, though, right?
For the most part, I mean, this is the first time this kind of speed has kind of reared its head at this point. You do see a player like Gene Foil hopping in, but it's the skill cap of this pool that's really going to make the difference, I think, especially with Penguinzy, Paper Candle hopping in this lobby. Both very strong speed players in their own right. It's definitely Norway leaning, I will say. But Turkey definitely have some walking room potential.
And Hunter in the lobby, I think the first time he's been able to play OWC on his home setup. He was playing from Japan for the group stages and for the round of 16. Now back.
Yeah,
one of my fellow retirement home speed cup teammates.
Seeing the pictures of that Japan setup from Hunter is like the smallest desk ever.
Oh, it was awesome. It was a fold-out desk, like at maybe knee height if you were stood up.
Should pay dividends with regards to comfort on a map like this. You do see Clutch and Y also hopping in the lobby for Turkey. Some DT specialists on their side, but again, just the name value, the skill cap value in Norway versus Turkey on a map like this. Hunter, Paper Candle, Penguinzy, Nineric. That is a killer roster for a map of this multitude.
And here we go. They all have the skill cap for this. Every player in the lobby deserves to be here. But which team is going to put up the better performance? I'm going to leave it all on the table.
Initial burst coming through. 285 BPM, the shred and aim. Quick early break gonna be for Hunter. This as well, similar length to that last map, 224. Couple banjo breaks mixed in as well, but that break from Hunter, first real one, still to hold through. Accuracy advantage still gonna be keeping the scoreline close though. 99.5 on Nineric, but breaks traded from Paper Candle to Clutch, and still just a slight combo advantage for Turkey, but it's close here because of this accuracy.
Accuracy, I think, is the tale of these two teams' comfort levels. I mean, 98 for Hunter. He's building back up a recovery combo now. A little early break. Shake out those first map nerves. Oh, drops on the square though. And it's 3 FCs to 2, which are now going to be carrying more weight than that accuracy. 96% doesn't matter. They have the combo. They're not struggling at all. Paper Candle and Hunter are finding a few issues, but Liar finds one of his own, drops the 1k. 2 versus 2 right now. We're halfway through. It's looking dead even as well. And there's no recovery, there's no rest. You just gotta carry your stamina as far as it can. Liar, I think, has done as much as he can. Capping out on those combo. Clutch finding a little bit of success now as well, building a recovery, but it's Raikoho, the big combo down, 99%. Cannot use that accuracy, followed by Gene Foil, and both FCs fall in a matter of seconds. And Norway looking strong with a 95 and 99.7 on Mineric. You can see why they picked this now and why they put these players in the lobby. Paper Candle does drop the 600 combo, but done everything they need to. Oh, and the FC's gone. No, Pingwinzy cannot quite hold it through to the ending. But Mineric does.
Yeah, and what an accuracy to do it with. I believe just 5 100s to his name, closing out that full combo.
Absolutely
as
trivial.
Advertised.
Absolutely trivial.
Yeah, no problem. No slouch for the Norwegian side, as unfortunately for Turkey, kept it close for a long period of time there, but unable to close out that matching FC. And as soon as that final break came through from G-Foil, it was a runaway race as Norway consolidate that first break point. Turkey still looking to get there first in this matchup.
Well, they better hope to get it, and get it soon. They are first in the picking order, so it is their pick again. If they drop this, they are 3-0 down. And Norway are given a second chance to break point. So it's looking dire.
Yeah, personally, after that initial free mod 2, I am looking at this no mod pool. The ban last week for Norway was the no mod 3, and prior to that, Turkey as well, one of the top performers in no mod 4. I do think they just need to go for some of these more comfortable picks for them, and I feel like no mod 3, no mod 4 going to be some of those options, if not even a Hard Rock 1 with the flow difficulty presented in that one. Going to be quite strong for their core.
Yeah, you really want them to find a footing in this match, right? What happens to a lot of teams is they can't quite get their first pick on the board. But once you get a point on the board, you can say to yourself, these guys are beatable. If we did it once, we can do it 5 more times. And a no mod 4 pick. What are we thinking about this one, Hubba? Because I wasn't expecting this. I was looking for DT1. I was looking for maybe Hard Rock 1.
Well, it leans into what Turkey's good at. Turkey is solid at tech, and they're solid at flow aim. We see last week, they were number 4 on this pick. For, granted, that map, more alt control-y, more snap difficulty, but the slider velocity sections of this map, paired with their flow aim comfort, should tie in for a solid map here on the Turkish side, in my eyes.
I'm not too sure whether this has a comparative map from last round. You could argue the 3 mod 3 in terms of the skill sets represented. It's higher in BPM, it's 15 BPM higher than that one. Or am I thinking of groups again? No, I'm thinking of last round.
3.
I'm so groups pilled. The amount of time we spent with that group stage map pool, it's seared into my retinas. Like,
no, last
I don't know if anyone else experiences this.
Yeah, no, I fully get it. Last week's Pre-Mod 3 was the more flow techish map. They did also outscore Norway on that one, if there is any point of comparison. Granted, not by a ton, only 80k difference between those two, but the comfort that Nomad is going to bring this Turkish roster here should be solid as well. Just waiting on the 4th here. I'm unsure whether or not Yokes or Nineric goes in for this one, but it's going to be Nineric staying in for the initial four.
There's a couple of things to think about when the comparisons are drawn between those two maps. Is you don't need mods on this. So someone doesn't need to take Hidden. You don't need Hidden. You don't need a Hard Rock. Which means all of these players can play their comfort mod, which is no mod. All of these guys far greatly prefer no mod to Hidden. And so you can also say Paper Candle's here and is in for this map and isn't in some way debilitated, let's say.
Right.
And here we go. Firing away. It's 3 minutes long. The song progression doesn't change very much. So as soon as this intro is finished and we get into the bulk of the map, that's pretty much what we're going to be playing for the next 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, this map, very comfortable. One of our OSU original songs for this week. Metahuman Boy bringing us Illustrious Drifters, mapped by Altai. Of course, you see those lovely emotes in the chat. Some custom emotes for you as well. But first break gonna be falling from Shinkiro and Anthony W trading between 200 combo. Final one for Melver. Gonna be giving Turkey the slight combo advantage through our first quarter.
Watch the rhythms on these cut streams. They catch out Melver a couple of times. He drops twice, finding some real difficulties with those, but those are the last little pieces of rhythm tech to be found. Levi follows up and Anthony drops the 14 combo he'd been building. It's 2-2 right now. One and Spray falls. It's Raikoho against the world. Shinkiro building a supporting combo for him. And it's the accuracy, I think, keeping it on Turkey's side. Eric, though, dropping an FC into this next section of map, mirrored by Shinkiro. And they're actually gaining lead despite that miss. Norway looking strong on this. It is that difference of having Paper Candle securing a real nice no-mod combo, fending Raikoho off as much as he can, but we're getting into 1/3 soon, Hubba, and that means combos are gonna fall if they're not ready for it. The change in mapping style is brutal, as you have to switch, you have to code switch from one topic, like one map style to the other.
It can be very dicey as they transition rhythms, snap, difficulty as well. Another break from Levy. The supporting combo from Norway is becoming insurmountable, but there goes the FC from Paper Candle on the switch up. That is what we were worried about. It's Melver, Anthony W, Nineric on these supporting combos, still with the advantage because of that break from Levy, but it's getting closer off of that break from Anthony W. Eric, Melver holding on against Raikoho's FC, but 150k is the score difference, and it's getting tight. Only like a 1/4 of map remaining.
Watch for Bancho misses here because they could be deceptive. Spray, that wasn't a Bancho miss. Levy, that wasn't a Bancho miss. It is Nineric and Melva with the support, helping Paper Candle out, near to overtaking him. They have just enough to be fending that full combo from Raikoho off. The lead is going to start to be slowly dragged back to Turkey. With Shinkiro dropping that support is not going to help. Nineric trades, but they are so far up the road now that all you can see is a silhouette. And they fade into the distance. Illustrious Drifters goes to Norway. It is 3-0.
The FC from Raikoho, unfortunately, not enough in this instance. The team score from Norway, 478, being the lowest score, is very strong. About a 550k average off the back of those supporting scores. Over 1k combo on 3 of the players on Norway. Very strong stuff to maintain that lead. It was just hovered around that 150k mark the entire map. And was more than enough for Norway to take that second breakpoint. And it's milliseconds before Penguinzy picks the DT2. Still just run down this DT for the Norwegian side, keeping that same roster, I would imagine.
This is exactly what I wanted to see from them, because their team is so strong on this skill cap, rhythm, tapping, control skill set. I would say Raikoho is definitely a match for them. 4K as well, does look good on this sort of skill set from my memory. I could be wrong. Things change in a year.
Yeah, I do believe Orke playing those maps in last week's DT2. It was why Raikoho clutch Gene Foil. Probably going to be that same as the DT3 here. Orke, more of a hidden specialist this time around for this Turkish side, but they come Gene Foil clutch Lai. Hopping back in the lobby. I would imagine it's going to be similar rosters as that DT3 with Penguin Z, Paper Candle, Nineric hopping back in the lobby as well. And I mean, they wear their strengths on their sleeve, this Norwegian roster. It's the reading and it's the tapping. They just do double tapping pick. Bam, bam. DT3, DT2, no problem. And we already know they're going to be mighty comfortable on this.
It's an interesting split down the middle that Norway have. They love the reading and they love the tapping, and those two things don't usually go together, right, in a team?
Yeah.
It's a real interesting thing to see.
Like, just the most volatile skill sets, it feels like, for the Norway side. Like, you just hop in skill sets that are the most abusable for teams that just don't have it. And for Turkey, curiously enough, in last week's DT2, they did have a slight score advantage. Granted, that was with Melver filling that 4th spot over Paper Candle. But just about a 100k difference in DT2 scores from last week, both over that 3.3 million mark. We'll have to see if Turkey can keep that up, if Norway finds the breaks necessary. Still just trying to get their one in this matchup, but so long as Norway picks into these strengths, it's going to be a very tough ask.
So the difference being the speed, I think. I guess you do need a prerequisite amount of stamina to play this. People already finding difficulty. It starts straight out by kicking you in the face, this map. And 4 players, 3, sorry, there was a Bancho miss. All 4, well, there were 2 Bancho misses. Okay, well, right. That I don't think was a Bancho miss. Neither, no, okay, you know what? I'm gonna sit back.
Okay,
we just let this play out, you know?
Those ones were real ones, probably. Clutch and Y to match it, though, from Paper Candle and Nineric. Gene Foil with that slider break. We'll have to see if it is the Bancho break. Bancho doesn't like this map because of the amount of kick sliders, but this finger control, so tough, and it's keeping close. With Raikoho still holding on to this FC, it does seem like Gene Foil's break was legit, so it's Penguin Z just a little behind the FC combo 100 with this backup from Paper Candle and Nineric. Still only 10k difference, though. Any continued breaks from the supporting combos will shift it right back over to Turkey as Paper Candle finds that break necessary. And why Clutch, Gene Foil doing their best to back up the captain there, but it's the break on the aim!
No! That was the worst part of the map to find a break, because it's not the tested skill set. You miss on a not even full screen back and forth. And give that lead over to Norway. PQC though! Surely that was Bancho, surely.
Surely. No. This long? That had to be real.
Either way, it is dead even now in the break. They see that Raikoho has missed. Eric with the 600 combo, soon to be 700. Clutch with the now 600 combo. And it is Eric to fall. He finds the miss. It's all to play for now for Clutch. He has to combo through the final chorus and then the outro. It's all on him.
The scores flickers back over. 100 doing his
Nobody misses. 100 now. It's the only chance to bring it back for Norway. And then big chain miss. Huge chain miss. 40,000 points given over to Norway. Dead even all the way until the end. Every player that held a combo giving a chance to shine on that.
It was
unfortunate breaks factor. All the way across. Oh, no, good grief.
Oh, that is tragic for Turkey. They had it in the bag, but a quad break
It was the team chain miss, I think, on the outro that sealed that fate. That was back and forth. You had no idea who was winning at any given time, and Bancho really didn't help that. Unfortunately, it is not to be. They cannot stop the breakpoint from being converted and are facing 4 points on the other side of the board now, Turkey.
Yeah, and after a pick like that, you just have to try something new again. I do think they have to play into this Hard Rock pool, whether or not...
No, but you know what? It's getting closer. That's the thing. These points are getting closer. That one was close all the way to the end. There are two maps that are 240 BPM, right, in this pool. There's Remote Control, there's Shimmy. Do you go No Mod 2, do you go DT1, or do you expect Norway to pick one of the two? Because both teams have, I think, 2 picks left, right?
Yeah, I do see a world where Norway just continues running down the DT line. Like, I don't, like, whether or not it's No Mod 2 or DT1, like, I do think Norway is just gonna stick to this, unless they pivot for the No Mod 5, but I would imagine Turkey is leaving that open for a reason. It's gonna be Free Mod 3, a different kind of gamble. It's circle time.
It's circle time. That's... It might be one of the most iconic patterns I've ever seen in a map. This map has an identity, and it sticks to it.
Yeah, the circle, the main diff spike of this map. It has plenty of other control elements as well, though. Looking at some of the smaller 4-note cut streams, cut quads, the squares as well.
What I find funny about this map is the circle only goes one way, right? It only goes clockwise. I'm surprised it didn't go back like counterclockwise in the second chorus.
This is DMC's messed up older brother. Like,
God, imagine DTing this. It'd only be like 210, but.
Arison in his heyday would have had no problems on this.
What, 210?
No, the flow elements.
Either way, it's flow elements, it's cut streams. There is a small amount of snap aim to contend with, but it is absolutely not the focal point of this map. And in fact, I would even go as far as to say I don't think I've seen anyone miss on it. It is all about that big diff spike, the big circle stream in the center. It is CS3. The base map is CS3, but someone has to hard rock this. Which means, I guess, for someone it does go counterclockwise, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is interesting with regards to, like, density comfort. I wonder if we'll ever see, like, a hard rock over mod on this map. Just because, like, sometimes the flow patterns are easier on the higher approach rates. It's actually very curious mod decisions if I saw that right. That's going to be Eric on the hidden. Penguinzy on the hard rock.
Wow,
Rakoho
what?
hard rock. Shinkiro hidden. So Eric hidden on the flow aim map. And no yokes in the lobby.
Yeah, Yokes doesn't like extended tapping patterns, which this has a lot of.
True.
Doors, yes, also probably doesn't like those 1/6 that appear periodically through the map. Big drum fill is early Doors lead for Norway. Couple of misses from Shinkiro and Levy. Is it Levi? Levy?
Good question. I've
Maybe
been saying
something
Levi,
I should have checked.
But because that break early score lead for Norway, all 4 FCs intact.
Okay,
And as well as the
spacing
accuracy.
picks up. Accuracy lead, correct, but cut streams, everybody hits them, and now the big circle. Missed by one, spray is down, but everyone else hits it. There's one more coming up. If they can hold their combo through these cut streams, the Penguins, huge chain miss. Spray claimed again by the circle. Levi joining him this time, but no one being claimed by the circle at all.
But the final FC is down.
Anthony and Eric, they're both gone. It's only Raikoho on the board to hold 700 combo. Shinkaro with a slight amount of support. And then now it's all about how long this FC can last. It's kind of been the story of the entire match so far. And with a player like Raikoho on your team, such a big name that has been performing so well over every round, snap patterns hit. And these direction change circles, the loop, no trouble. That lead only accelerating. That blue bar has never been bigger, Hubba. As Raikoho planting that point firmly on Turkey's side right now. Hard Rock FC, as you were saying, maybe some people prefer the approach rate. Some people prefer the smaller circles.
No, not
it's
the stack!
Linear, it's the stack. Might even have been an over tap by a keyboard or something. Unfortunately cannot lock out an FC, but there is 0 combo on the other side. Anthony, the biggest at 300, is going to do nothing to accelerate Norway towards Turkey. And finally a point on the board. They strike gold when it matters.
Yeah,
4-1 now, Hubba.
They got their 1. That's the opening they needed. It was a unconventional pick for sure, one that we did not anticipate, but it worked out quite well in their favor, with the average score in the lobby hovering around that 450k mark and Raikoho shining bright above at nearly 900k, just missing that FC based off of a little overtap on some stack. So, but it's back to the Norway side, and with how close that DT2 pick, it does beg the question whether or not they're going to stick with the initial just pick every tapping map in the pool strategy, but I would be shocked to see them shy away from it now. Nomad 2 DT1 still available, Nomad 5 in the back pocket if necessary.
Well, where do we go now? Team Norway, do they carry on running that DT? Do they pivot Nomad 2 as the other tapping map in a pool? We also have 230 BPM on the free mod 4. Higher BPM maybe suiting these guys a bit more. Means the map is less mechanically aim intensive.
Still just an untouched Hard Rock pool. It's curious for these teams, but Hidden One a little too tricky for these teams, a little too coin flippy. I would probably like to see DT1 here, just because of how close that DT2 was. But it's going to be Nomad 5, they're pivoting.
Wow.
It's going to be the reading.
Okay, not entirely unexpected. If they were going to pivot, Nomad 5 was the pivot that they were going to make. And here it is. Do not trust the aim on DT1. Maybe not trusting the aim requirement on Nomad 2, going instead for reading. And historically, right, Norway has been incredible at this skill set. They've had GN, they've had Yokespie, they've had Anthony, they've had Shu. These days, Norway leaning a lot more into the tapping roster with Hunter, with Paper Candle, Winzine and Eric, but the old remnants still linger. Norwegian reading was the stuff of nightmares. You did not want to be facing down Norway on any reading map. And they retain a lot of that aura, right?
Still having those remnants, I would imagine, with Yokes, Anthony being around.
What do we think about Turkey's chances on this, though, Hubba?
I am curious about this. With regards to roster, it's probably going to be Raiko Shinkiro are guaranteed locks on any Nomad pick, but I would like to see how Orke and Spray shine, likely to be the third and fourth. I mean, you don't leave a map like this open without doing your due diligence, without putting in that extra work. And they know that they're going against these reading boogeymen in Norway. So if the practice is put forward, if the proof is in the pudding, Turkey will have made it work. And actually a shocking roster here. No Raiko is going to be Lai, Spray, and Levi filling out those extra spots. This is for Norway's match point. Meanwhile, you have the star-studded roster on the other side, Melver filling out that fourth spot for the Norwegian team. As we hop into Ultra Rendo 1, custom by PW384, banned in most matches and left open against these Titans.
I'm looking forward to this. 2 minutes in length, but it feels like an age when you're playing it. There are so many patterns that could trip you up. The amount of focus spent on a map like this cannot be understated. And here we go.
Yeah, this map chock full of these aim control patterns and stack overlaps. Incredibly tricky, and you're already seeing these first few breaks come out surprisingly for the Norwegian side. It's Yokes and Melver having a hard introduction to this map. All four combos held on the side of Turkey, just a little over 2 minutes for this one. And starting off hot for this Turkish side, actually, these big penta patterns as well as Anthony W. It's actually Eric, only FC remaining. Yokes with the recovery, but a very strong start for Turkey.
Eric now down.
What?
There are no FCs on Team Norway and 3 incredibly strong ones on Team Turkey. 99.7 for Shinkiro. They have done their homework. They have come prepped and ready. And Yokes, by dropping the 300 he'd been building, leaves Melver on his lonesome. Levi and Spray trading it out.
Whoa.
But Anthony is down now as well. These FCs, though, for Team Turkey holding. Watch these cut streams. This is a combo color reading test. If it's the same combo color, there are no breaks in the pattern. Shinkiro down. Can run it back if they hold through this, Team Norway. Which they do a little bit.
But still, it's Lai outscoring Melver, especially now after that break. It's a full combo wipe for Norway.
Oh, Liar.
And the trap has been set. Liar. Wow, what a performance put on the tapping roster for Turkey, surprisingly enough. And now getting the highest score in the lobby on the reading pick against the reading boogeymen. And I mean, 600k score difference. The trap has been set. The break point has been planted, and Turkey gets their second one on the table.
I think that's an FC.
That is absurd. That is egregious.
That
Getting
is
an FC.
850 FC, so that makes it an A rank FC. 96% for Liar. It's good combos across the board for everyone. But the team performance, even not the FC notwithstanding for Team Turkey, they break right back, and they're in this, Hubba. They're in this. It's 4-2, but Turkey are now looking good.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. And now Turkey getting a little bit of momentum on their side. I mean, getting Fremont 3, Nomad 5 back-to-back. A little bit of life being shown on the Turkish side now. 2 back-to-back after being down 4-0. I mean, and still plenty of hard rock to play into if they want to go that route, as well as Nomad 3 being about as close as you're going to get to the Fremont 3. Nomad 3 probably also a solid pick, especially with Norway banning the alt map in last week's pool, banning out that Nomad 3 last week. So we'll have to see if the rhythm elements can still make it cozy enough to pick, especially with Raiko coming on to that roster, I would imagine.
Now all we can do is wait. Let's see where they go. We've had a very strong start for Norway, but seemingly a resurgent for Team Turkey. Coming through just in time for the second half of this match. And it's Hard Rock 1!
Banger alert.
Banger alert. The map's banger as well. What do we got in store for us with this one, Hobo? Mega Fan map, Hard Rock.
Mega Fan Hard Rock Hybrid Flow is going to be the name of the game for this one. Plenty of XL, B-Style, a little wiggle difficulty as well, especially with a very volatile ending that, if we see a close map, could be the swing one way or another, pending some chain misses. So should be a very curious one. You're looking at the Hard Rock comfort of Turkey's core on a map like this, especially with Raikoho. I mean, we've seen what he's done with Hard Rock on these free mod maps, as advertised. Likely to do the same here, likely the reason for a pick like this.
In Turkey, correct me if I'm wrong, they did quite well on Hard Rock in the previous few weeks, right?
Oh yeah, they are quite a strong Hard Rock team overall. Hard Rock not picked in the round of 16 between these two teams because they were going against Italy, who are equally as good at Hard Rock. But in the group stage, they were certainly Hard Rock Titans in their group. They got the, I believe, like within the top 8 twice out of their 3 matches played. So for Hard Rock 1, so quite strong stuff for Hard Rock on the Turkish side. But we're just waiting for those players to hop in now.
Timeout cold. They want to be ready on this.
Oh yeah, try to avoid that match point with Norway. Tiebreaker is not a situation you want to be in ever, especially with a team nearly half of your seeding senior.
I look at this map when I was playing the pool through, and I'd say it's very comparable to No Mod 4. Would you agree?
I would say with regards to the flow difficulty, yeah. Very similar flow styles between those two maps. But this one, you're just gonna be foregoing that slider velocity difficulty and adding in that extra Hard Rock comfort, which Turkey has in spades. But now Norway will be having in spades with regards to Paper Candle being back after last week's sickness. So we'll have to see if that is game changer enough.
We will see. And this is the second to last pick, I think, for each team. I was wrong earlier when I said each team has 2 picks left. They know they have 3. There is still time for DT1 for No Mod 2. And given this timeout, we can start talking about, well, where do these teams go after this? What ramifications does this have on the match? Like, Turkey, if they take this, have they warmed up into the match and can now pick into something like, I don't know, Free Mod 4?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Free Mod 4 is the likely next step after this one. Hard Rock 3 is a really tough ask for any team in this tournament with regards to the slider aim there. I don't think that's a pick that Turkey will be super comfortable going into unless this map winds up being very comfortable for them. But rosters in Penguinzy, Paper Candle, Melver, and Inarek against Raikoho, Clutch, Shinkiro, and Spray.
Right, and here it is. We're going 3 minutes and 30 of this flow rhythm heavy map. We saw the No Mod 4 earlier with similar properties, but this without the sliders, with smaller circles, and with far more of a rhythm component.
Oh.
Nah, I'm ignoring them. They don't exist. That didn't happen. Although it was a consistent miss across 3 players, Spray following it up as well as Penguinzy. It does not waste any time, like hitting you with a right hook as soon as the map starts. Watch for the rhythm, watch for the flow aim. You gotta warm up into this, you gotta readjust to those smaller circles.
Yeah, it also helps that with regards to roster here, especially right after that Nomad 5, it's going to be Melver and Neneric playing significantly higher approach rate. Surprisingly enough, the main combo's being held, but there goes a double break. Clutch Shinkiro dropping their combos. Melver to trade it for a very close first Ki here, as Raikoho trying to fend off Paper Candle and Neneric's recoveries.
It's touch and go right now. It is 2 big combos either side. Greater support for Norway. Shinkiro finds a miss, and there goes one of the big ones. Spray is down. It is all on the back of Raikoho now. How long can he hold? How well can he put his team in the backpack? Not very. He's down. He's gone.
Oh, and
combos all reset. Paper Candle and Neneric both holding FCs halfway through the map, though.
Good old banjo breaks. Paper Candle still holding onto that recovery. A little bit of what we used to call, when I first started watching OWC, intercaming method with those initial breaks leading into this combo hold. 1K combo above for both of them, and that full sweep for Turkey's combo there. A second break to come through for Clutch and Raikoho will be only beneficial to Norway, as Eric is making a mockery of this map with this combo. Penguinzy right behind him.
The No Mod 4-esque 1/3 pattern coming in. And it really does make sense. The comparison between the 2 maps exists both in terms of the map progression and the song progression, right? Eric this time, though, not caught out. Combos through that. Carries through these flow aim patterns. He's holding really well on this. Penguinzy starting to catch up. But look at the size of the red bar. And it's only growing. 600k of advantage. Turkey can do everything that they want to try and stop this, stem the bleeding. Shinkiro with a 900 combo is going to be matched completely by Penguinzy. Raikoho with a 500 is matched completely by Paper Candle. It's the comfort on the other 2 players that shine through. Neneric on the 1.6k. We're going to be watching him to see if he can lock out this FC.
Well, not quite an FC.
Down. Paper Candle is down. Well, yeah, not quite an FC. But like I said, we ignore that.
Still, what a performance from Norway. I would imagine a slight underperformance from Turkey on this map. You wouldn't want to pick a map if you think you're going to get 1.8 mil on it.
Wow.
But what a score from Neneric with the
800K.
reversers. Unreal. Nearly 1 mil despite the early chain.
That is a 3v4 as long as you include Neneric on the team. There's a big performance from them. 5-2 now. Match point for Norway. And they are in control of where they go with the pick. No Mod 4 not being as successful as they would have liked. Hard Rock 1 though on the other side for Turkey, following the same fate. Well, good luck. Have fun, guys. It is match point to Norway. It is their pick, and they have chosen Hard Rock 3. Slider follow map that is deceptively low star rating even to this day. 3 minutes are going to decide whether Norway take this one, end the match, or whether Turkey are still in this and can drop their final pick. Here we go, guys.
In we go. Switching up their Hard Rock roster slightly for this one is Turkey with Orke hopping in. This map.
Yokespie Anthony in for this one on Norway. The reading, the tech players, and this much more technical, much more about reading. Watch the accuracies. They're not just going to be slider ends that are dropped. They're going to be circles that they get 100s on as well, because the rhythms used are so esoteric. You have to know what is going on in the song to know how to play this map. A couple of misses come out. Anthony is down. Oh, it was a Bancho miss that I saw, so I'm not going to mention it. There are these esoteric rhythms. You gotta be switched on, you gotta be locked in. Okay, locked out, drop now, 300 combo. Accuracy advantage to Turkey. 3 FCs to 3. Anthony recovering as well as he can, and it's 91% for Yokespie. 2 95s also on the side of Norway that are keeping them out of this. Although, saying that, Hubber, that 91 is mirrored by Spray.
Yeah, it's really close between those two accuracies as well as this recovery from Anthony.
Look at the differences in the combos, actually. Look at the slider ends that are being dropped. You can gain a non-insignificant amount of score just by hitting all of these slider ends, but to do that you have to risk missing on the slider or a tick, and Spray is down, the combo is out. Shinkiro follows suit, and it is 3 full combos now to 1. Okay with the support, cannot fend off Team Norway. Anthony with the miss, 95% is reset down to 0 combo. And yet it is still 3 FCs. We call them FCs. They just haven't missed yet. They're not FCs. They're not full. They've missed slider ends. Biggest combo at the moment. Least slider ends missed is for Raikkoho. They're finding better success on tapping accurately. Missed from Anthony again. And the lead is growing. It's gaining. There are supports there for Turkey. One misstep. One drop. Is going to decide this. But no mistakes are being found. It is Team Norway that are running to the finish line. Turkey trailing. Raikkoho doing all he can. 96%. Yokespie finally falls on the 92, but there is too huge of a lead now. It is 2 FCs still carrying them home. And Raikkoho, Shinkiro, Orke, Spray, don't look now. You're going out, guys. You're going home.
And not at all a bad team score from the Turkish side, but they just got swamped by Ninarix FC there, 96.63. Just 3 slider end difference between himself and Raikkoho. Accuracy making up the score difference. 750k up top from Yokes. What a team score from Norway, and what a performance as they make it out of this one. Their opponents next week to be decided on our main stream. Brazil, Finland currently tied up 4-4.
Hey. What do you mean next week?
Oh, not next week. That's tomorrow, baby.
What do you mean next week? Hold on.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Well, buckle up, guys. Let's see what this next match has in store for us. We'll decide their opponent very shortly, it seems. They have 3 more maps to play maximum. It is a best of 3 situation. Go over there, give them some support. Thank you so much for casting with me, Hobo. We will sign off now, so you get to catch all of the excitement over on the A stream.
I'll see you all over there. Close tidings, Brazil versus Finland. On that main stream, gonna be raiding now. Bye-bye.